And we start with the big story we've been tracking the last 2 days. And at this hour, we discuss the death of actor Tunisha Sharma and the circumstances around the same. It has now emerged that Tunisha had lunch with her ex-boyfriend Sheezan just 15 minutes before she allegedly died by suicide. She was found hanging, remember, in the makeup room for the television serial in which both were working together, also on the day she allegedly committed suicide. The question now emerges, what went wrong in those 15 minutes? When Tunisha was having lunch at 3 p.m, then what prompted her to take her own life close to 3:25, just in 20 to 25 minutes post having lunch? The police is investigating Sheezan's role, not just in abetting the suicide, but also about whether something Sheezan did could have driven Tunisha to take her life, especially now that Tunisha's mother has alleged that Sheezan used and threw her daughter. She's been saying that he promised to marry her but ended up cheating on her and ended up breaking up with her. That's the mother's allegation coming in.
ने टुनिशा को धोखा दिया, उसके साथ पहले रिलेशनशिप बनाया, शादी का वादा करके फिर उसने टुनिशा से ब्रेकअप किया और उसका पहले किसी लड़की के साथ इन्वॉल्वमेंट थी। उसके बावजूद भी टुनिशा को उसने इन्वॉल्व रखा अपने साथ, 3-4 महीने उसको यूज़ किया। बस मैं इतना कहना चाह रही हूँ कि इसको सज़ा मिलनी चाहिए, शीज़ान को नहीं छोड़ना। मेरा बच्चा गया है।
Well, sources have told Times Now that the contents of Sheezan's phone are now being probed to see whether he was in touch with any other girls. A secret girlfriend list is allegedly under the scanner as well. The police is also probing whether Tunisha ever spoke to the secret girl and whether this was brought up at the last lunch that Tunisha and Sheezan shared.
It's really shocking to hear this. I never thought that she would take such a step and, kill herself or, do something like this. It's really sad and unfortunate what she had done. I don't know about their personal details, whatever happened between both of them. What transpired, what happened between, what kind of relationship they shared. It wasn't like, confirmed that they were in a relationship or not.
Well, Times Now has also learned that in this grilling by the police, so far as the confession goes, Sheezan has said that he and Tunisha were in a relationship. He's admitted to the relationship. He also added that they broke up 15 days ago because of several factors. Remember, this is a fact that was put out by Tunisha's mother as well. But this time, Sheezan says while they did in fact break up, he mentioned differences in age and religion as a factor. He also said that he was disturbed after seeing the fallout of the murder of Shraddha Walkar by Aftab. In the backdrop of the case, a political war of words has also erupted between the BJP and the opposition. So that said, yes, politics is playing out, but the reactions coming in from the mother are of utmost importance at this point in time, and the police is very closely probing into the same.
ये भी बात सामने है कि तनिष्का शर्मा की जो मौत है वो लव जिहाद का ही एक मसला है। मुझे लगता है इसकी पूरी जांच होनी चाहिए, जांच चल भी रही है। क्या आने वाले वक्त दिन पर दिन हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि ये इससे जो मामले हैं वो बढ़ रहे हैं। मुझे लगता है इसीलिए इसके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कानून लाना चाहिए और हम उसके ऊपर विचार कर रहे हैं। बहुत गहराई से सीरियसली सोच रहे हैं कि इसी के लिए लव जिहाद के लिए एक सख्त कानून लाया जाए।
तो इस तरह से हिंदू मुसलमान लाना और उसके ऊपर चर्चा लाना और सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से लोगों को गुमराह करना, ये बीजेपी का टैक्टिस रहा है और इसलिए बीजेपी के मंत्री ने इस बारे में ऐसे ही स्टेटमेंट किया है। इस मामले में पुलिस जांच करे, जो कोई गुनहगार हो, क्योंकि हम धर्म और व्यक्ति ये सबसे परे है, कानून ये सबसे बड़ा होता है। वो कोई धर्म का हो या कोई भी जाति का हो, जिसने गुनाह किया उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई हो।
All right, politics aside, keeping our focus on the current investigations, a statement has also been issued by Sheezan's sister. The official statement to the media from the sister and the family of Sheezan, and I quote, to everyone who's been trying to reach out to us for a statement in the case, please allow our family privacy in this grave situation. We have full faith in the Indian judiciary system and Sheezan is cooperating with the Mumbai police through all the procedures. We will talk about this when the time is right, but for now, please allow us the privacy which our family deserves right now. So this is the latest. Remember, her sister along with the Sheezan's lawyer today were also present at the police statement. So their statement also being recorded by the police. We're also being joined by our guests this evening. We have Raya Labib, Tunisha's friend, with us on this broadcast, along with MZM Legal LLP advocate Swapnil Srivastav and mental health expert Dr Prakriti Poddar. I want to begin by asking Raya Labib this. Raya, first up, just help us understand your relationship with Tunisha. For how long have you known Tunisha? What is the kind of relationship you've had with her, and what do you know about Tunisha and Sheezan's relationship?
I can't actually hear you very clearly. Can you repeat your question?
Just meaning to ask you about your relationship with Tunisha. Since when did you know her, and what do you know about Tunisha's relationship with Sheezan?
So, I mean, I just want to talk about basically the entire situation where, I heard on another platform that they did not think that she had predisposition to mental health issues, but we also found out that
Dr. Poddar,
she did actually...
One second, that question was for Raya. Raya, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'll come back to you, doctor. Let me quickly understand from her, the current situation, and what is it that Tunisha was bothered with. Raya, what can you tell us about what you know of the relationship she shared with Sheezan?
जब भी वो मुझे मिलती थी तो तभी वो बहुत ज्यादा डिप्रेस रहती थी. वो मुझे ये शेयर करती थी, ऑलवेज वो फोन पे बिजी रहती थी. तो मैं जब उसको पूछती थी कि इतना फोन पे किससे बिजी रहती हो, तो कि बोलती है कि मेरी बॉयफ्रेंड. मैंने बोला अच्छा, बॉयफ्रेंड के साथ कुछ लफड़ा है क्या? ऑलवेज फोन कॉल के बाद बहुत ज्यादा एग्रेसिव हो जाती हो तुम. तो फिर बोला उसने, हाँ यार, लड़के लोग बहुत ज्यादा ऐसा ही होता है, लाइक एक्सेट्रा धोखा देते हैं, आज इधर कल उधर, पता नहीं कितने का कॉल आता है. तो ये सारी की सारी
कब की बात है? राया लबीब, कब की बात है? आप कब की बात बता रहे हैं?
ये हो गया अराउंड मिलते हुए काफी टाइम हो गया, अराउंड 7-8 months गोइंग ऑन.
तो आप कह रहे हैं 7-8 महीने, पिछले 7-8 महीने से जब भी आपने उनसे बात की और इस टॉपिक पे बात छिड़ती थी तो वो परेशान दिखती थी हमेशा?
मैं जब भी मिलती थी तब भी परेशान ही दिखती थी वो,
क्योंकि बहुत सारे उनके जो कोएक्टर्स
चेहरा था,
राया, बहुत सारे उनके जो कोएक्टर्स हैं जिनसे हमने बात की,
तो मैं सवाल करती थी कि कुछ तो शेयर करो, ऐसा क्या है तुम्हारे लाइफ में. इंटरनल बातें वो मुझसे शेयर नहीं करती थी, बट वो इतना बोला कि यार क्या हो सकता है, बॉयफ्रेंड मतलब सब ऐसा ही करता है कि कभी कुछ ना कुछ टेंशन रहती है, परेशानी, प्रॉब्लम, ये वो, आज की ये इसके साथ, कल की उसके साथ. तो वो सारा मुझे ना बहुत ज्यादा हेडेक होती है. तो इतना बातें वो मुझसे शेयर की थी.
आप सेट्स पे भी थी क्या राया?
सॉरी,
इस टीवी शो के सेट पे भी आप मौजूद थी?
नो, मैं सेट पे मौजूद नहीं थी.
ओके, बिकॉज हमने उनके बहुत सारे को-एक्टर्स से बात की है और उन्होंने हमें बोला है कि सेट पे कभी ऐसा कुछ नहीं देखा कि वो परेशान थी, वो हमेशा खुश दिखती थी. एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी वर ट्राइंग टू गेट टू द बॉटम ऑफ दिस.
मैं ये बोल रही हूँ, वो उसकी फेस बहुत ज्यादा खिलखिला, बहुत खुश नजर आती थी, लेकिन उसके फेस के इनसाइड, पीछे, उसकी हंसी के पीछे जो एक चेहरा था वो बहुत ज्यादा डिप्रेस वाली चेहरा था. जब मैंने गौर किया, उसको मैंने पूछा कि कुछ तो बोलो यार, मतलब इतना खूबसूरती चेहरा के पीछे ऐसा क्या है? तो बोला कि यार कुछ नहीं, थोड़ी बहुत टेंशन होती है मुझे, बॉयफ्रेंड की हेडेक मिलती है, समटाइम चीट करती है मुझसे, कभी इधर कभी उधर. तो
उन्होंने यही शब्द यूज किए थे राया कि उनका बॉयफ्रेंड चीट करता है उनपे?
हाँ.
और कितनी बार ऐसी कॉन्वर्सेशन हुई आपकी उनके साथ?
अराउंड 3 to 4 times, क्योंकि वो मेरी बहुत ज्यादा क्लोज फ्रेंड नहीं थी.
ओके, बट डिड शी ऑल्सो मेंशन शेज़ान्स नेम? क्या उन्होंने शेज़ान का नाम लिया था?
नो, शेज़ान का नाम नहीं लिया, बट बॉयफ्रेंड बोला उसने. बॉयफ्रेंड कौन हो सकता है? शेज़ान के अलावा बॉयफ्रेंड कौन हो सकता है?
Okay. Let me go across to Dr. Poddar as well. Dr. Poddar, what do you make of this? Because several co-actors who've worked with her on the sets of this very show have said that we did not pick up on any of those signs. She did not come across as a person who's depressed, who's going through a difficult time. She was always extremely bubbly. But then health experts do often tell us that those signs are more often than not witnessed only by people around you.
Yeah, so I think that at this point, we've already established that Tunisha was definitely depressed. It came to be known that she actually went to a hospital for anxiety as well. So there has been a history of mental health concern in that area, and I think that maybe people around her and she didn't take it seriously enough, because those are the signs and symptoms of anybody who may ideate over suicide. And I think that's important because, and she was 20 years old, which is obviously a prime age, unfortunately, for mental health concerns where it comes to suicide. In fact, in India, 37% of children, the youth basically in that age group, are depressed and may at some point suicidal ideate. And I think it's important that we take this as a warning sign as well and start communicating with the youth, start communicating with their co-workers.
Now, Dr. Poddar, why this is also very crucial to the ongoing investigations is because what has come to light is that at 3 p.m. In the very set where they were shooting for the show, Tunisha and Sheezan were eating lunch together at 3 p.m. and close to 3:25 is when she was found hanging inside the makeup room of that very set. So a person who is perhaps troubled or going through a difficult phase, is a patient of depression, had a panic attack, let's say 15 days ago. What can you tell us about what can prompt them to take this kind of an extreme step, if at all? Are those 15-20 minutes enough for a person to be pushed to that extent?
Any change in environment, any change in relationships, any change in financial status, all these changes can actually lead to somebody thinking irrationally at a moment. And in those moments where you have irrational thoughts, you can try suicide as an attempt. You will attempt it. Not everybody is successful, thankfully, but attempts can be made when somebody is emotionally wounded, even if it isn't something that is long-term illness, but even short-term events such as these. If a person doesn't have emotional resilience of sorts, or hasn't really built themselves up, or is going through additional mental health concerns, this can lead very drastically to somebody taking their own life.
Okay, Mr. Swapnil Srivastava, what about the legalities of the case? What do you think is going on as far as the ongoing investigations are concerned? The police has, of course, arrested Sheezan, citing the abetment of suicide charge. That's the charge that's been leveled against him on the police's part. But with regards to evidence, what do you think the police really need to prove that charge, if at all? Because abetment to suicide is a charge that involves a lot of circumstantial evidence as well.
That is correct. Section 306 of the Indian Penal Code defines what abetment to suicide is. And there are three things which have to be proved to say that a person was actually guilty of the said offense. The first thing is that it needs to be proved that the abetment and the suicide were part of the same transaction. The second thing which needs to be proved is that the accused person uttered some words which need not specifically be to the effect that you should go commit suicide, but which should adequately demonstrate the consequence which the accused person wants, which is that the person should kill themselves. And the last thing which needs to be proved, and this is where the circumstantial evidence actually becomes relevant, is the intention of the accused to have that consequence of the victim killing themselves. So far as this current investigation goes, the police will naturally have to investigate and take the statements of the people who were around the two couples, around the two people. They have additionally already seized their cell phones and sent it for a forensic test to see what sort of chats were happening between them to ascertain the intention on part of Sheezan.
Okay, the police has so far not ruled out any possibility. It's looking into a murder angle, a possible murder angle, suicide angle, abetment to suicide as well. But so far as the current investigations go, what, do you think that it makes for a solid case of abetment to suicide? Because, you know, here's the accused Sheezan, who's gone on to say that the Shraddha Walkar case rattled him, you know, perhaps prompted him to call off their relationship given the age difference and the difference in their religion as well?
See, I think the fact that the two of them met shortly before Tunisha went ahead and did the unfortunate act really puts Zeeshan in a very, very complicated situation. And I believe that further investigation is required. I believe that they need to take the statements of people who witnessed this said lunch, see what was the body language of the two people concerned, try to ascertain what sort of words were exchanged between them, to see whether or not Zeeshan said anything which could have prompted Tunisha to take this extreme step.
Because Mr. Srivastav, so far what we know is that, they met before she took that extreme step. They allegedly did meet. That's the information that's come to light. And the mother has come out with some very serious allegations. How far the police will be able to prove that is also of utmost importance here, because the mother says not only did he cheat with her, not only did he cheat on her, he also promised to marry her, but ended up calling off the relationship.
See, in today's day and age where everybody is connected to the internet, everybody is constantly on their mobile phones, if at all an angle of cheating is involved, then I'm very confident in the abilities of Maharashtra police to uncover chats between Zeeshan and these other women. If at all any promise to marry was made, then of course the close friends of Tunisha will have to be examined to collect evidence to go to court and prove beyond reasonable doubt that this had in fact been done.
Okay. All right. Dr. Poddar, now we're not quite certain of the exact mental health of Tunisha and, whether or not it was the breakup that triggered it to that an extent. But in this particular case, what do you make of the details that have come to light so far? Do you think a person who is perhaps going through a difficult time mentally, a trigger such as a breakup, can lead that person to take this kind of a step?
Is this question for me?
Yes, Dr. Poddar.
Okay, so there is no prescription of who will end up taking a step like this. There are many reasons why a person could. It could also be genetic. There's genetic predisposition. There's peer pressure. There's peer norms. There's different types of social-emotional development, and I can't comment on her background for that. But all these things matter when a person's DNA is constructed, in a sense, when it comes to emotional and physical health. So it's really important to think about all those things. But I think what we really should be discussing is what kind of coping strategies and what kind of problem-solving skills can be taught rather than,
and if at all,
because all of
any
us
additional intervention
I find
that may have come in could have helped Tunisha, because as per her family, she did suffer a panic attack as well, right after their breakup. Whether that was the sole reason or not, that we don't know and we can't quite conclude. But whether or not any sort of an additional intervention may have helped her back then, that also remains very, very important. There are several big questions that lie unanswered at this point in time. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. We continue to track the investigations in the Tunisha death case. For the moment, heading into a very quick break.